Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and this is...
Autumn Garibay.
And this is...
Logan Garibay.
And today, we're going to talk about Andrew Yang and a huge, awesome, unsuspend opportunity for Andrew Yang and Netflix's brand new show, Outer Banks. All right, Outer Banks 2020. Spoilers. There are major spoilers for Outer Banks and for Ozarks in this content. Let's get it. All right, so I'm going to present to you two and explain to you Outer Banks. So first of all, Outer Banks is a mature show. Can you explain what a mature rating is on the small screen?
Yeah, so for television, mature is one of multiple, I think, 6 ratings that a TV show can have, and it's just to say that this is made for and should be watched by adults. Would you like me to
Absolutely,
say the other ratings?
Absolutely.
So the lowest would be TVY for youth, TVY7, TVG, TVPG, TV14, and finally, like Outer Banks, TV Mature.
Yeah. MA.
Yeah, TV MA for mature.
Yeah. Do you think those ratings have any meaning to anyone?
I do, and I think that they have definitely loosened as the years go on, and people that rate them looser, and the people that watch them may get looser with the what they choose to watch. But I think that the intention for them is for them to distinguish what is made for children, what is viewable by children, what is made for adults, and what is viewable by adults. And for that purpose, I think they can be used as such. I think they rarely are. The few people I think that do care about them are far stricter parents than you are. I think the vast majority of people do ignore them, to your point.
I don't think I'm like a non-strict parent. Like, I think there's a lot of parents that are a lot less engaged than I am. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong about that.
I do know a lot of families that will, like, directly look into what their children watch and, like, specifically prohibit. Like, I know one of my friends, he cannot watch anything over PG-13. And he's, like, 12, so it's kind of weird.
Right.
I think that's a subject based on our, like, we're evangelical Christians.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so most of our
friends... But there are some people.
Oh, yeah. No,
especially in our circle.
But, I mean, it barely exists even within evangelical Christian circles. Do you think outside of evangelical Christian circles, there's a parent who gives two rats that their kids are watching MA? Go ahead.
I do know there are strict people. It's not like, it's not like everyone on the entire planet.
Without
is
a
just
doubt.
Like, I don't care, my kid can watch.
So what percent? 5%? 25%? What do you think?
I think a little bit above either 5 or 10.
Right. Totally agree. So you would think that maybe 5 or 10% of parents care if their kids watch mature content.
Yeah.
We are in 100% agreement. 100%. That's my entire point.
Yeah, well, my point was just that there's some.
Without a doubt. No question. But that means 9 out of 10 parents do not give 2 rats. And guess what? That was the case before 316. That was the case before a plague swept across the earth, right? Now, nobody has any idea what their kids are watching because kids are all over the house with a million devices. Parents are begging them to get out of their face and go put their face on a device. And they can watch virtually anything they want the minute they get there, okay? So, like, that was a great breakdown. Thank you. I totally agree. There are parents who are engaged. They are 5 to 10% minimum, right? So, with that said, let's talk about Outer Banks. Outer Banks is a show that Netflix just dropped. It dropped literally last week, okay? I have watched the entire thing. It is 10 episodes long. It is incredibly compelling, extremely well written, extremely well executed, extremely well shot. It is a good show, but it is so good, it is dangerous. It is a highly dangerous show. Here's why, okay? One, This is not Netflix. It's a Netflix. It's a Netflix original. Okay, please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think 99% I'm right about this. Netflix original. Outer Banks. Check this out. Okay, this show was made before anybody knew a plague was going to sweep across the earth. Right. So here's the problem. This is a Disney show with Ozark structure. Okay, every single protagonist in this show is a high school student. High school, okay? Now, you just heard what I said. High school students, this is what happens in this show, and the protagonists are either... Actually, one of the protagonists does single thing I list from here forward. Every single thing, okay? Except one, and I'll tell you what that one thing is. Oh, you know what? I'll give the list. Every single protagonist, one of the protagonists does these things. Fist fights for your life, right? Getting into a fight where you're literally about to beat someone to death, right? Major problem, right? And, like, this is not a small thing. When I was a kid, I'm 50 years old. Kids got in fist fights. These two, I doubt they've ever been in a fist fight in their life. None of my kids, I don't think have ever been struck or struck anyone in any type of situation, right? For me, it was like every 3 months I would get beat down because I said something foolish, right? But that was 4 decades ago. That stuff does not happen today, right? Like, it just don't, right? And if it does, it's on YouTube the next day and, like, police are involved. It's like, it's not a thing. But in this show, life-threatening beatdowns, right? From protagonists to other characters, right? Okay? Police, they were indirectly involved in a police homicide. Their actions lead to the death of a police officer in this. And these are the protagonists, right? Next, Ozark level theft. Ozark level theft of money, right? Houses breaking and entering into houses, right? Ozark, 420 throughout the content, okay? Then, Ozark substances higher than that used by non-protagonists. That's the one where I think they drew the line there and the protagonist didn't do substances beyond 420, okay? Next, auto theft, boat theft, arson, and that's the list, right? And so this is Disney age characters involved in fistfights to your life, a hair's breadth away from a police homicide, Ozark level theft, money theft, Ozark substances, and dealing, right? 420 throughout, pervasive, right? Auto theft, boat theft, arson, breaking and entering, and, like, it was incredible, right? Now, here's the problem. Here is the problem. Before this month is out, April, I think there'll be 4 teenagers in the country that haven't seen this top to bottom, okay? Because of what we just talked about. Parents don't care. They're like, please, I'm begging you to go to your room, get on a device and watch whatever the heck you want, right? Like, there is no oversight. So this is not Netflix's problem, but the problem is they made an incredibly compelling show starring kids who according to the rating, should not watch it, right? But then, but the stars of the show are people who cannot watch the show, but we are in a time right now where we know literally millions of kids, millions of teenagers who shouldn't watch this, high schoolers, will watch the show because it stars them. It stars teenagers, right? Huge problem. Huge problem. I will let you guys comment on anything you wish there before I go forward and tell what Andrew Yang should do about it, if you have any comments.
I definitely think it is a problem with ratings, and I do know a lot of people, especially teenagers, they don't even look at it. They just don't care. They're just like,
exactly.
I'm just going to watch this. And that definitely can influence bad behavior and mindsets. I do think it definitely is a problem. Like, for something like Ozark, like, you know it's going to be very dark and bad, but with protagonists at this young age, it kind of feels like, oh, I'll just watch this little flick that has this teenagers and they're all friends and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's that healthy for teenagers to watch this.
Oh, without a doubt. Thoughts?
I think that I would disagree with the premise proposed here that the that the age of the people in a show should match the demographic, or matches the demographic of the show. I think we've talked before about how we really enjoy many shows that are multi-generational, which mean that even in some mature content, there will be younger people as well as older people, and I think there's also usually some solace in that. Typically, older actors will play younger kids, so in many situations, they won't have children actors doing mature things. But I will also pose to you, I think that you may think this is a problem unique to television, but you're also a huge fan of horror movies where children are almost very, very usually demonized or wreaking havoc. But you wouldn't, I don't believe that you would think of that as a bad example to children or small twins. Like, so I do think that mature content can be problematic, but I don't think that it's an assumption that every teenager will watch it just because there are teenagers in it.
That a great point. I will say this. The horror movie industry pays a very close attention to what people say about it. And exactly what you said became an issue 5-10 years ago, where there was an entire bracket of viewers who said, I will not watch any horror movie where a child or a pet is harmed. And that absolutely did not get rid of all of them, but it massively lowered the number. And so that the horror movie industry is not unaware of that problem, and actually has taken some significant steps to reduce those type of movies. With that said, let's jump right in. So, Outer Banks is a huge problem. Netflix made a fantastic show starring people who should, by the rating, never watch it. We are right now in a circumstance where, I'm telling you, I don't think there'll be a teen left in the country. There'll be less teens in America than there are fingers on this hand that haven't seen this thing before April's out. Like this, there's no way. Like every teen in the country is going to watch this show, right? And honestly, I don't even blame them, because the thing is compelling and good and solid. None of them should watch it, but the idea that they won't is ludicrous. Ludicrous. I think millions of high schoolers will watch high schoolers in Outer Banks doing the following: fist fights for their life, indirectly involved in a police homicide, Ozark level money theft, Ozark substances and dealing, 420, auto theft, boat theft, arson, and breaking and entering. Right? Like, so this thing is a mess. This is a hot mess. I think I have much sympathy for Netflix. I think they walked into this completely unaware. I don't think nobody knew what was coming, right? But we've got a perfect storm for millions of teens to watch a show about teens that was never meant for them, that is going to tell them this is what teens do. Not bad teens, the good teens. And I'm like, it's like, it is the only one that I need to be careful of is the Ozark substance thing. The thing beyond 420, the protagonists don't do that, okay? But, like, literally their siblings do. It's that close, right? So, you got this perfect storm. You have this hot mess of entertainment that has happened. Opportunity for Andrew Yang. He immediately unsuspends, and he says, day one, okay, January 21st, first day of my presidency, I will immediately get rid of the entire television small screen rating system and replace it with G, PG, PG-13, rated R. Logan, do you want to define those ratings for me?
Okay.
So, yes, go right ahead.
It goes, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's mainly 4 major ones. So there's G, which is basically anyone can watch it. PG, which is, there's
parental guidance.
There's a tiny bit of restriction, not like basically none.
Yeah.
And then there's PG-13, which is parents should be aware of what their children watching under the age of 13. If they're 13 or up, doesn't really matter. Mature.
No. R.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
sorry. R is 17 and up.
Right. Do you want to boost that on any of those?
Yeah. I was actually looking into, and to give myself some context, I looked up examples of each of these, so I'll share those. Something interesting I found was an example for G, the 1994 Lion King. An example for PG, the 2019 Lion King. So same movie in different formats, different ratings. A great PG-13 movie, Knives Out.
Awesome example.
Yeah. Can't recommend anything above that. Something for R recently was The Joker.
Yeah.
And we're not discussing anything about that, but there is NC-17 things like The Evil Dead or things that not even we would watch.
NC-17 functionally does not exist, nor does G. G really doesn't exist anymore. I do
believe most cartoon Disney movies will still be G. So every Toy Story movie, every you believe they'll be PG?
I would be shocked if Toy Story 4 was rated G.
It was.
I don't think Toy Story 4. You think Toy Story 4 was rated G?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I guess I'm wrong. All right. Okay. So here's the thing. I think it's really important that Andrew Yang snaps this down. And it's a huge opportunity because I think parents will understand, and it will remind parents that he is thinking about them. When it comes to this traditional, very well understood because it's had 30, 40 years, this G, PG, PG-13, rated R, I think that should go into the small screen. Was there another format that you think those movie ratings that Andrew Yang should bring as well?
Yeah. So as we're talking about bringing movie ratings to television, we just did a video on one of our favorite video games, so I was also thinking you could maybe use those for video games. Real quick, those ratings are the lowest is E for everyone, E 10+, so 10 and over, T for teen, M for mature, and a few games are AO or adults only. Yeah.
That seems like a hot, useless mess that would be ignored even more than... that seems like a rating... So, one, the movie rating system is in place. It is understood. The small screen rating system is utterly worthless, useless to everyone. And the video game rating system is far worse. Utterly useless. Hit it.
I do strongly disagree.
Okay.
The video game rating system has been argued for years. People are very, 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 very diligent on what their children are watching. Sometimes I will say that there are some instances that parents don't care at all. But literally there has been countless court instances of this. So I definitely do think I have a lot of friends, and even myself, I have played some M-rated games. But at the same time, I ask my parents and show them this and do that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There are definitely teens that do not do that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do think there is a lot more caution with video games because back when this is still happening, but school shootings were rising up a lot. There was a lot of investigation.
Focus, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think I remember this fact. Like one of the Columbine shooters or whatever, they were like, "Oh, he played all these M-rated games." His favorite game and the one he played so much often was DDR, Dance Dance Revolution. So yeah, so it is very, very, very questionable on both sides
to rate those. So you would not be for Andrew Yang dropping G, PG.
It's happened thousands of times. I don't even think it would matter if he did that.
Would you be for or against him doing that, dropping it on video games?
I don't think he would unsuspend, so no.
Would you be for him doing it for television, for the small screen?
Sure.
Okay. What do you think? Do you think he should do this plan for the small screen? Should he do it for VG?
he should do it for neither. Unfortunately, I don't
wow.
agree with you
All
here.
right.
I think it's a bad idea because I don't think that... I agree that there is less parental guidance over television than there is over movies and video games. I do not believe that's because of the ratings. I think it's because of the environment and the enforcement. For both movies and for movies, you have to typically go to a theater and purchase a ticket. And if you look 12 or if you look young, they can not give you a ticket. If you go to GameStop and you try to purchase an M-rated video game, they cannot give you that video game. But typically, the only one to say that you can't watch that television show is your parents. So the fact that these are in different environments, where in movies and video games you literally have to go and purchase something, whereas TV, you can turn the TV on and see it. I think that is the reason that there is that discrepancy, and I think putting different letters to the same thing isn't going to change that. What do you think, Logan?
No. Actually, both of you left me out on that branch, perched by myself. I respect both of your opinions, and I will say, Logan has forgotten more about video games than I ever knew. And I really appreciate all your lookup material. Thank you very much. All of that is our opinion. What do you think? Do you think that the movie rating system should be dropped on the small screen, should be dropped on video games? Let us know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.